He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Hope everybody's safe out there. Starting to rain a little bit on the drive in. I'll tell you, there's nobody on the roads, which is probably a good thing. I will not be on the roads for a while after I drive home here in a couple of hours. You know, I'm not a meteorologist by any stretch of the imagination, but it appears that we'll get a lot of rain, a little bit of wind, maybe a couple, power outages here and there. But by and large, it looks like we're going to be spared from a lot of the brunt of this storm. Cannot say the same for our neighbors to the south in the southwestern part of Florida. I got a picture from my stepbrother who's in Fort Myers, and they're the same people that just got hammered by Hurricane Ian 2 years ago, and it's already not very good down there. And the thing hasn't even made landfall yet. So, look, I used to have fun with the live team coverage on the news and people overreacting about these things. I'll tell you this. Really, for a while now, but particularly 2 years ago when I saw what Hurricane Ian did to members of my family in Fort Myers, and I see what's happening again tonight, I will never, ever, 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 ever take for granted the fact that Jacksonville, for whatever reason, knock on wood, seems to be spared time and time and time and time again when it comes to these storms. So, prayers up, man, to the people to our south, because that thing's going to come on shore here as a high-end Category 3 probably in the next couple of hours, and it's going to do some damage down there. Sarasota, Fort Myers, Naples, probably Tampa, into Orlando a little bit. So thinking about all you guys. And, again, we're fortunate. It appears we're fortunate up here in northeastern Florida. We are going to talk sports for the next 2 hours. That's why we are here, and there is a lot to get into tonight on Hacker After Dark. The Jaguars and the Chicago Bears on Sunday. The Jaguars were back at the Miller Electric Center again today, getting ready, starting preparations for Chicago. I'm going to dive into that. We're also going to dive into it with Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark during the year. We'll have Leon on in less than 15 minutes to look back on Indianapolis, but more so, look ahead to this Chicago game coming up in London. We will get the Chicago side of it as well later on in the 9 o'clock hour. Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times is one of our guys in the Windy City. He's already in London. He's already over there. The Bears went over there Monday night, so Patrick Finley's already in London. So we'll talk to Patrick Finley about Chicago, about preparations for the Jaguars coming up this Sunday. A little college football talk tonight as well with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. A little high school talk mixed in. We got a lot for you, and it all revolves around football for the next 2 hours. I will tell you, in the Major League Baseball Division Series right now, Detroit already has won 3-0 over Cleveland. The Tigers have taken a 2-1 lead in that series. The New York Mets. It was 1-0 Philadelphia, and Lindor just hit a grand slam about 30 minutes ago or so. Mets already lead the series 2-1. They're up 4-1, going to the bottom of the 8th up there in New York as Philadelphia is on the brink of elimination. The New York Yankees are up 1-0 on Kansas City. That series tied 1-1. They're in the 4th inning there. And later on tonight, out in the state of California, it will be Game 4, Dodgers and the Padres, with the Padres leading that series 2-1. But it will start, as we normally do this time of year, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So if nothing else, the Jaguars are at least consistent. And what do I mean by that? Well, think back to 2022, right? 4-8. Awful. Coming off just a beatdown at the hands of Detroit the Sunday after, or I guess, it was a week after Thanksgiving. They were 4-8. Not going anywhere. People said the season was over. And, of course, we know the rest. The Jaguars rattled off 6 wins in a row, including a playoff win over the Chargers, and ended up in the division round of the postseason. So in 2022, again, consistency is a key to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 years ago, Doug Peterson's first year, from 4-8 to 10-8, and ultimately winding up 10-9, winning 6 games in a row after a 4-8 start. 2023, Jaguars were 8-3. They were the number 1 seed for a few hours, week 12 of the NFL season. Remember that? They went from 8-3 to losing 5 out of 6 and missing the playoffs altogether, becoming just the 6th team in the last quarter century of the NFL to start a year 8-3 and not make the postseason. Jaguars have a way with these streaks, right? 2022 was a positive, 4-8 to winning 6 games in a row. 2023 was an ultra negative, from 8-3 to losing 5 out of 6 and missing the postseason. And now here we are in 2024. Most of us wrote the season off at 0-4, the heartbreak of 0-4, 3 of which you probably should have won, or at least could have won. And when they lost to Houston 10 days ago, I think some of us wiped our hands saying this just isn't our year. They're cooked. Only one team in the history of the sport has started 0-4 and went on to make the playoffs. Well, if nothing else, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in both a positive and a negative, have shown us in the last 2 seasons that trends may not necessarily apply to them. Who would have started 4-8? Who would have ever thought starting 4-8 and getting to the division round of the playoffs, that was a positive? And on the exact opposite side, who would have ever starting 8-3 and missing the playoffs? That would be a negative. So now 0-4. And then you beat Indianapolis. It's a division win. All right, you're 1-4. And now you go to London for a couple of games against 2 rookie quarterbacks that have obviously never played a game in London. And if you beat Chicago, and if you beat New England, man, it's almost kind of a reset to the year, right? At 3-4, you'd be in the thick of it for a wild card with 10 games to go. No one's running away with the AFC except Kansas City and, I guess, Houston. Everybody else in the conference, aside from those 2 teams, has at least 2 losses. There's a ton of parity in the American Football Conference. And remember London last year. Remember the Jaguars' struggles. I think they were 1-2 going to London. Getting away from the noise. They beat Atlanta. They beat Buffalo. They got to 3-2, and they were cooking after that. Will that happen again? I don't know. But the Jaguars seem to be following trends. They seem to set a lot of trends. And maybe for a 3rd year in a row, hopefully this one in a positive fashion like 2022, they can buck another trend and go from 0-4, just like 4-8 2 years ago, to maybe making the postseason. It'll be tough. It's doable. And a lot of it starts with these 2 games over in London beginning Sunday against the Chicago Bears and a week from Sunday against the New England Patriots. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on Hacker After Dark. A couple of tidbits from around the National Football League. We'll get to Leon Searcy here in one moment. You see the Texans put Nico Collins on IR today. Arguably their best player on offense outside of C.J. Stroud. Probably is their best player on offense outside of C.J. Stroud. The 4 games he's going to miss: at New England, at Green Bay, home against Indianapolis, and against the Jets. So Patriots, Packers, Colts, Jets are the 4 games that Nico Collins is going to miss. Indianapolis, reportedly, according to Adam Schefter, maybe have to put Michael Pittman Jr. on IR. He's missed practice today with a back. Word is it's going to be more week to week and not day to day. And Mike Pittman is an IR candidate. So you got Houston and Indy putting 2 key guys on their offense, probably on injured reserve. Houston already has. Indianapolis reportedly probably will. It's interesting, right? Again, the Jaguars are in a hole. Claw out of it. What is that saying in the movie Any Given Sunday? 1 inch at a time, right? You fight, you scratch, you claw, 1 inch at a time. And then ultimately you add up all those inches and see where you are. Well, that's what the Jaguars need to do. That's words to live by after starting 0-4. They gained a couple of those inches in beating Indianapolis. They'll look to gain a lot of inches over in London if they knock off Chicago and New England. Crawl your way back into the fight. That should be the motto. Crawl, scratch, whatever you need to do to get back into the fight. And again, the Jaguars will look to do that on Sunday in Chicago. In London, we'll talk about the Bears side of this with Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. He's already in London. We'll have him on in the 9 o'clock hour. But coming up next, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Let's review Indy. Let's preview Chicago. And where is this team at 1-4 heading to London for these 2 games? We'll do that with Leon Searcy next. Wednesday night, Hacker After Dark. Glad you're with us right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Pick the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park. Pick the worst. You'll still win some pizza, just not enough for a party. The 1010 Weekly Pick'em Contest is brought to you by MyBookie.
You pick 'em.
At 1010XL.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Mia here. Have you been betting and winning at MyBookie.com? If you haven't bet with MyBookie yet, they are still running the double deposit bonus. Just sign up with promo code 1010XL. We are on to week 6 in the NFL, a ton of college matchups that run through the weekend. Get some skin in the game on all of these elite matchups. You should certainly have your eye on that spread for Florida, Tennessee Saturday night. You know that we play the Bears Sunday on NFL over in London, and we're probably going to be a slight underdog here in Duval County. If you think the Jags can win in London, bet it. The Surging Commanders, meanwhile, play the Ravens in a DMV battle. The Cowboys play the Lions. And for Sunday Night Football, Bengals traveling to New York to play the Giants. For a limited time, MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus. Use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW. for Malcolm Anthony.
Hurricane season is here, and if you own or run a business, you must protect your valuable property from parking lot floods. Call Duck Duck Rooter, your storm drain maintenance experts. Our VACCON team specializes in regular storm drain maintenance to keep your property safe and secure. With Duck Duck Rooter, you can trust our professionals to keep your storm drains clear, preventing floods and ensuring the well-being of your customers and employees. Call us today at 904-862-6769 to schedule your storm drain maintenance. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com for more information.
Every Monday,
David Garrard
calls the signals and looks for you on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Look past left prong. Oh, ready.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com
Duval.
on 1010XL.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
57% of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida alumni say the club saved their lives. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida support over 5,000 local youths each day. Help support this work and have some fun at the same time. Join us at the Beaches Barbecue Bash, Monday, October 28th at ABBQ Atlantic Beach for barbecue, great beverages, live music, and an auction to positively impact our youth each day. Learn more at bgcnf.org/events.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Even if you're in process with another lender, give Loan Pronto a call. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Our most popular meat combo is ready to grill this season. Pounds and pounds of marinated steak tips and chicken, fresh ground beef, and homemade sausage. Just ask for the sampler combo.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bears, Sunday, 9:30 over in London. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Chicago feeling pretty good, right? They're 3-2 coming off a win against Carolina, where Jacksonville finally got off the mat in that victory last Sunday over the Indianapolis Colts. So let's talk to the former Pro Bowler. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. My buddy Leon Searcy, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Leon, how we doing, man?
Doing great, bro.
Leon, you and I spoke on the fifth quarter, and that was a fun show on Sunday with you and I and the head coach Dave Campos, certainly. You've had a couple of days to digest it. Win number one, and in the fashion that it happened, when you think back on everything on Sunday, how important was that win for this organization?
Well, I mean, for the psyche of the player, I mean, you had to get that W. I mean, the frustrations over the last couple of weeks, last 4 weeks, I mean, only one game they got really blown out, but they squandered a lot of opportunities. This team could have been easily sitting at 3-1 right now, or maybe 4-1 if they had to take advantage of the opportunities that they had. So just for the psyche of the organization, for the players, the coaching staffs, you know, to be able to watch the film and dissect some of the things that you did well. I mean, it's been a while since this team was able to look at film and see them do some good things, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The offense had good rhythm. They had good flow. Trevor was on point. The running game, the offensive line played well. And, you know, on the back end, we struggled a little bit in the secondary, but we still had Phenom and Trayvon Walker who got after it, got 3 sacks, should have had 4, maybe even 5 sacks in that game. So, I mean, it's a lot of good that's going on. Now, what they need to be able to do is take that good from playing the Colts and carry it over into London for the next 2 weeks.
You know, Leon, as disappointing as it was to blow a 2-touchdown lead with 5 minutes to go, and in hindsight, I almost think it might be a good thing because you couldn't have more adversity in a football game than that. I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate adversity, Indianapolis putting 2 touchdowns on you in a 3-minute span, and for the offense to go back out there, for Trevor to get those first downs, to connect with Christian Kirk, and then for your rookie kicker to go in and just drill a 49-yarder to win it. That's the first time in a while, Leon, that this team has responded to adversity.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the most disappointing thing over the last 4 weeks when they were 0-4, as this team had opportunities, but when they faced adversity, they shrunk under pressure. They squandered those opportunities to possibly win games. And it was just refreshing to be able to see them in a situation where the Indianapolis Colts literally scored 17 points in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. They made it a ball game. And this team, historically speaking, within this season, shrank under the pressure. And it was good to see this team take advantage of the opportunities, make the first downs, put themselves in a position where they can win a ball game. So now they know they can do it. Now that they've responded properly, hopefully we won't have any repeat of the past 4 weeks in which this team, under pressure, shrank and did things they didn't need to do.
You hear Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, I want to talk about Trevor in a moment, but I think the reason Trevor was so effective was the offensive line, a position you certainly know a little bit about. I don't think the Colts touched Trevor Lawrence behind the line of scrimmage. It was a dominating effort by all 5 offensive linemen. And I guess my question is, we always talk about cohesiveness, right? And these same 5 now have played 5 games together. And, boy, they look to be getting better, Leon, every single week.
Well, they have. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row where they shut out the defensive line and got no sacks and no pressures on Trevor Lawrence. And I'm proud of them, to be quite honest with you, because I was definitely concerned about this team, the way they were embarrassed on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, both tackles gave up pressures. The interior gave up pressure. It was just a nightmare. So I know something had to be done. I don't know whether it was a guy on the line. I don't know if it was an offensive line coach. But somehow they created this bond now where, listen, we're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to take this thing personally. This train doesn't run unless we're effective. And the last 2 weeks, they posted shutouts. So I know the conversations had to be said, maybe in the locker room, maybe in the meeting room. But I think this offensive line has taken a lot more onus on this offense because they understand that this train does not go unless we're together.
And look, when a quarterback doesn't get touched by the opposing defense, you would expect him to perform very well. And Trevor Lawrence performed very well. Dare I say, Leon, a top 5, maybe a top 3 regular season performance in Trevor's career. He was fantastic on Sunday.
He absolutely was. And it has a lot to do with the offensive line, especially you give them time. Now, we got on Trevor the week before against the Texans. There was opportunities down the field, and he missed on them because he had the adequate protection. But now this week against the Colts, he had adequate protection. He had the deep threat down the field, and he hit the hay in the barn when he threw the ball. So that was good to see because, I mean, listen, we can say what we want to say about Trevor, but he has the arm talent. He has the mental aptitude. He has the physical attributes. He's a ball player, and he just needs to start acting like one. And for the first time this season against the Colts, he looked like the number one pick overall.
You and I, for the last few years, heck, even more than the last few, you and I for years now have made the comment about wide receiver one, right? The Jaguars are lacking wide receiver one, that go-to guy. And I got to tell you, Leon, 5 games in, 22 catches, 397 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's top 10 in receiver yardage in the NFL right now. This kid, Brian Thomas Jr., my goodness, does he look the part. And to me, he's probably wide receiver one on this team already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, before they drafted him, when they drafted him, I was hoping that he continued the legacy of LSU wide receivers. They've got a litany of wide receivers that come out of LSU that are absolutely box room office. And this guy's got the goods. He's very promised. He has the potential to turn into the Justin Jeffersons or the Jamar Chase of the world. I mean, his deep threat capabilities, his catch radius, his speed, his intellect, his just ebb and flow in the game. So I mean, he's doing some things. But by the way, he is leading the NFL as far as rookies go, as far as receivers go. So I mean, he's definitely a candidate for maybe offensive rookie of the year if he continues down this road. So yes, he's a dynamic player. You've got to get him touches. I'm talking about you've got to target him at least 10 to 12 times a game. I mean, he's that elite as a route runner.
Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy here with us on Hacker After Dark. Leon, that year 1 to year 2 jump that we always talk about, you lived it in Pittsburgh, so you're the guy to ask from your rookie year to your second year. Tank Bigsby looks like a different human being out there. I mean, the way he's running, the confidence he has, my goodness, the jump he made from his rookie year to where he is now.
Yeah, heck, I wish I could kind of explain it, but the evolution of your rookie year, everything is like fast paced. Everything, you've got all these different moving parts around you, and you find yourself having to keep up because the game just seems so fast. But the more you go through it, the more you rep it, the more you practice it. That next year, believe it or not, the game slows down. It did for me, and I was able to impose myself on people because I could see things literally before they happen. So I can imagine as far as Tank Bigsby go, and we was all disappointed in his rookie year. We made comments that he had more fumbles than he had first downs, So now this kid is seeing it. I'm telling you, that jump cut that he made, I'm telling you, I've seen it before because I had a Hall of Famer, a Jaguar Hall of Famer, who was synonymous for that jump cut. When I saw it and him hit the hole and take it to the house, it reminded me of Freddie T.
It was a great play, no question about that. And I think Tank Bigsby, look, Leon, this is not an anti-Travis Etienne sentiment. I love Travis Etienne. I want him very much involved in the offense, but I want Tank Bigsby in there as well. To me, it's kind of like Detroit, right? Detroit's running backs are David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I hope that's what Jacksonville morphs into, Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, they're both formidable. I mean, not only running the football. Etienne. Tank stole the shine a little bit last week against the Colts, but Etienne still has that breakaway ability. I mean, you give him daylight, he'll take it to the house. And also, as far as Etienne goes, I mean, you can motion him out in the backfield and put him in the slot. And now a linebacker or a safety has to come down and cover him. That's a mismatch. So we can effectively use both of them, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game. So that they'll be our tandem, like Trayvon and Josh Allen. If they can give us that kind of success with what they were last year, then we'll be all right.
Leon, I want to turn our attention to London and the Chicago Bears in one moment. Final thought from last Sunday. You mentioned Trayvon Walker. My goodness, man. Probably his best game as a Jaguar. He got 3 sacks. He probably should have had 4. And Hines Allen's sack was a result of Trayvon Walker. I think he was credited with 7 pressures overall. And the Indianapolis Colts literally could not block Trayvon Walker last week.
Yeah, they couldn't. The right tackle for the Colts. He was just overwhelmed. Trayvon was just too big, fast, and powerful for him. I mean, it was a couple of times where I saw the offensive lineman trying to retreat and hold on because he was just getting pushed back. And then Trayvon, he had some moves in there. I saw the one-arm bar, I saw the bull rush, I saw the slapping of the hands coming around the corner, the rip move. Listen, at the beginning of the season, I felt that Trayvon Walker was going to probably have as good or maybe even the better sack totals than Josh Allen last year. Right now, he's sitting at 5 or 5.5, wherever it may be. So he's got some momentum going forward.
All right, Leon, London. Last year, the Jaguar season in the first part kind of turned around in London. Maybe an opportunity to do that 2 years in a row. It's interesting. Chicago is already over there. They left on Monday. The Jaguars are leaving, I believe, Thursday evening. Just your thoughts on the whole dynamic after a big win over Indy, now going to London to play the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, and the Chicago Bears.
Well, listen, that's why it was so important for this team to get a win. The last thing you wanted to do was for them to be going into London on a disappointing 5-game losing streak. So this win is promising for the Jaguars. And traditionally, the Jaguars play well. They play well in London. So it'll give them an opportunity to go up against, back-to-back weeks against rookie quarterbacks. And if you just look at the rosters, if you just look at stacked up the rosters between us, we're the better team. And so if we're the better team, I just believe that we should go there and act like it.
Final moments with former Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Leon, as we begin to wrap up, the idea the Jaguars have momentum going in, Chicago certainly has momentum going in, but if you look at these two games, they're winnable, right? This isn't exactly the Kansas City Chiefs. Chicago 3-2 with a rookie. You get a rookie the following week, it looks like, in Drake May. 0-4 was awful. You get that win over Indy. Now you get a couple of rookie quarterbacks that have obviously never played in London. There's a chance, I don't want to get too far ahead here, but there's a chance that if you come back 3-4, it's almost kind of a reset with 10 games to go in the regular season.
Yeah. That's the way we can look at it. Us as analysts or the media, they've got to look at it as like, hey, listen, they're in the way. All right. Everybody thought we was out this thing. We started 0-4. We take this game against the Bears, and then we reset the table, and we go against the Patriots and we eat. So that's the approach they have to take as players. Just get this win underneath your belt, and then worry about the next one. So the most important game right now is to make sure that they beat the Chicago Bears. Because it's not going to be easy. Caleb Williams, week after week, he started off slow, but week after week, his completion percentage has been going up. His touchdowns have been going up, and their defense is solid. So, the Chicago Bears is going to be even more formidable than the Indianapolis Colts are. So whatever they think they did against the Colts, they feel that they can do against the Bears. They got to do more. And I hope they go in there with that approach.
Leon, final question, and maybe this means nothing, maybe it means something, who knows? Jacksonville does this trip all the time. Chicago hasn't been to London since 2019, so most of the Bears that are on the roster right now have never made the trip to London. Caleb Williams has obviously never played a game over there. That's probably why Chicago left on Monday. Does that mean anything when the ball is kicked off?
No. Not really, none of my assessment. No, I don't think it means anything. If you're saying maybe they left early so they can get to some acclimated because of the time change and all that kind of stuff, yeah, then maybe you get that out of the way early, and maybe that's the reason why they left so early and they left Monday. But I don't think the Jaguars have any advantage as far as being there and played there. All it's going to come down to is that who out-executes whoever on both sides of the ball, and hopefully we can continue on the offensive side of the ball to execute on a very high level.
Do the Jaguars win on Sunday?
They do, but it's going to be close. I think they win 20. Heck, I think they win 24-20.
We would take it, and that would make for an awful fun fifth quarter. Again, a special time. Remember, the game's at 9:30 in the morning, East Coast time. So the head coach, Dave Campo, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, and yours truly will have the fifth quarter for you. Sunday afternoon, probably about 2:30 or so, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bears go final. Leon, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time. I'll see you Sunday afternoon.
You got it.
You see it at the stadium or watch it on TV. He gets to watch the coach's film.
I'm Jeff Logman, and I'll tell you what I saw on Check the Tape Tuesday.
Brought to you by Napa Auto Care. Check the tape.
10 to noon on 1010XL.
Hacker here, and I can't believe it. 100 pounds gone. 6 months ago, I never would have dreamed this was possible. I'm going to say it again because it feels so good. I've dropped 100 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. To put that in perspective, I've taken roughly 10 inches off my waist. I'm down from a XXX to an XL, and I did it all in slightly over 6 months. It's not just about the number on the scale. It's also about getting my life back, playing with my son, and being more physically active. Now, we're celebrating big time. I'm hosting an exclusive football watch party to celebrate this huge milestone, and you'll have a chance to join me. Let's watch some football, eat some great food, and if you have questions about Awaken 180, ask me. Details to come, but don't wait on that. Call Awaken 180 today and learn how fast you can reach your goals. 844-346-1800 or online, awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Everyone needs hope, but hope doesn't win cases. Weekends, long hours, resolve, hard work. That's what can win cases. Hope doesn't roll up its sleeves to help secure your future, but we do. Farrah and Farrah, Jacksonville.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Watch top local fighters in the Police Athletic League's Boxing Championships, October 26th. Find out more at jaxpal.org.
Thousands of people in Duval County suffer from Alzheimer's. To join the Walk to End Alzheimer's at UNF, November 9th, visit alz.org/Jacksonville Walk.
You can make a difference in the lives of people living with lung cancer. To join the American Lung Association at the Lung Force Walk at UNF November 16th, log on to lungforce.org/Jacksonville.
Pace Center for Young Teen Girls has been helping local girls realize and fulfill their individual potential year-round since 1985. To see how you can help change a young girl's life in your community, visit pacecenter.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World.
Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. With you till 10 o'clock tonight here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. More NFL talk. Patrick Finley, Chicago Sun-Times. He's already over in London. He covers the Bears. He's been our guy up in the Windy City for a few years now here on Hacker After Dark. We'll get the Chicago side of this matchup. Again, they're 3-2. Coming off just a beatdown that they gave Carolina. Caleb Williams' best game as a pro, which I kind of like, right? Maybe Chicago's feeling awfully good about things heading into London after that game. Hopefully the Jaguars can reel them back in a little bit. But Patrick Finley of the Sun-Times, Brent Beard to preview Week 7 of college football. We'll get more college football talk here in just a moment, and some high school talk, and good grief, man. The weather has wreaked havoc with a lot of things, and obviously, you know, rescheduling sports is way, way, way down the list for things to do when weather arises. But for what we do and for what we talk about and covering high school football, you do kind of feel for the coaches and the kids, right? I mean, they bust their tail the entire year to get 10 games in the regular season. And I've been covering high school football on 1010XL for 18 years. We're in year 18 of the Friday Night Lights postgame. I cannot ever remember a year in the last 18 years where weather has caused this much of a disruption to high school football. Denmark, that's your world. You're on the coaching staff at Baldwin. I mean, can you ever remember a season that's been as messed up as this one with weather?
No, I asked Rob Shields that. He said 04 was pretty hectic. That was the last time I think the state of Florida had a couple hurricanes go through.
Yeah, 04 was bad. That's a good point. But even so, that's been 20 years ago now.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was in kindergarten, to give that some context. So,
wow.
It's been some time. Yeah, it's like I said the other day, it's just, you just kind of see what the storm is about 4 or 5 days in advance, and then you wait for the county to make a decision, and you kind of just roll what the county does. You can't really do anything about it.
You were in kindergarten when I was a sophomore in college. That's very depressing to me. So quickly, being on the staff of a high school football team, when it comes to scheduling, right? I mean, you think about, you know, getting referees to come to Tuesday night football and getting, you know, losing all the finances of a Friday night gate at these stadiums. I mean, these teams have taken hits this year, right?
Yeah, from that standpoint. But I mean, you know, a lot of these games, it's just, you know, you've seen some canceled. And I mean, right now it's at a point where you're in district play. You have to play these games. And, you know, you don't want to delay some of these games for down the road for the next 2-3 weeks because you don't know what's going to happen. So, You put the time in, you prepare, and, you're going to play these teams, a week in advance. Sometimes, right about now, the middle of the season, you got a bye week. It's just kind of a tough situation. A lot of the times, the coaches call each other, and, they more often than not, they get it done and they get it right. So, you don't really have too many sticky situations, regarding scheduling here.
We'll have Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bowles. They got a win last night over Jackson. He joins us coming up in just a bit. Also, Gunnar Cox, the head coach of West Nassau. They got a win over Fernandina Beach on Monday night in a big rivalry game up in Nassau County. Again, Monday night lights, Tuesday night lights. We've had Thursday night games. We've had Saturday games. It has been wild in the world of high school football. So we'll talk to a couple high school coaches coming up as well. So high school, college, and NFL talk all in the next hour and 10 minutes right here on Hacker After Dark. Quickly to college, Florida, Tennessee, Saturday night. The line is 15.5. At least that's the line that I saw. Denmark, I'm thinking I'm taking Florida in the 15.5. Now, I don't think Florida wins the game, but I do think there is something to be said for matchups. And I know these rosters change every year, but if you'll remember last season, and Tennessee had Joe Milton, right? And he's in the NFL now. It's not as if they had a bad quarterback. Florida just wiped the floor with them in Gainesville. And do I think Tennessee's better? Yes. Do I think Florida is worse? Probably. But having said that, I still think that you look at matchups, and for whatever reason, Florida just matches up well with Tennessee. Again, I told you last night, I think Tennessee wins the game 31-20, 30-17, something maybe 34-21. It's a 2-touchdown victory for Tennessee. But I would probably take the Gators in 15.5. And I think if you're Billy Napier, and if you're being realistic as a Gator fan, if I tell you Florida battles Tennessee in Knoxville on a Saturday night into the fourth quarter, loses 34-21 because Tennessee punches one in late to make it a 2-score game, you're probably okay with that, right? Now, you got to beat Kentucky the next week or the season's going to go haywire. But I think realistic, and that's a interesting word with Gator fans, realistic Gator fans, I think they're probably going to lose Saturday, but as long as Florida's competitive and they don't get absolutely blown out of Neyland Stadium, Denmark, I get the vibe that some people are going to be okay with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, and Florida's got some really good news tonight. Eugene Wilson and Mizell are both going to be playing, got cleared to go, so no injuries for them, and we'll finally be able to see two of Florida's, explosive guys on the outside that can, take the ball and go 80 yards if they want to, then both be on the field at the same time, something we haven't seen. So that's probably the one thing I'm really excited to see. And you're seeing it against a good front in Tennessee. So, yeah, I do think Tennessee wins. The line has came down from 17 down to 15.5, and I think it'll stay at 15.5, 16.
Oh, I mean, so there's big money coming in on the Gators,
yes.
Denmark.
Big
money.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, no question about it. It's a fun Saturday. I was telling Rick, you got the Texas State Fair with OU and Texas. First SEC battle between those two. You also got LSU Ole Miss, probably the game of the week. How's Alabama going to respond against South Carolina? And I love Vanderbilt, Kentucky. I think that's great. I can't tell you the last time I've actually been excited for a Vanderbilt-Kentucky matchup, but I'm excited about this one. And, of course, the big national game, Ohio State-Oregon. So it should be a good Saturday. We'll talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. That comes up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. So NFL talk, college talk, and a little high school talk for the next hour right here. Hacker After Dark with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Wednesday night, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Kick off your college football weekend with the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff.
I'm Matt Hayes, and I'll help you slide into a college football Saturday with pregame news and notes.
Friday evening at 6. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley.
Hi, Ken.
Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see. Hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Oh, is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air and Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Attention veterans, the Fed has done it. They've lowered interest rates the moment we've all been waiting for. And at Loan Pronto, they've lowered mortgage rates along with it. It's Prosser here from my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6%, Loan Pronto can do a streamlined refi, lowering your monthly payment with no income verification and no appraisal. Veterans can now access up to 100% of their home's equity and turn that into cash. You can get 50, 75, even 100 grand or more with no junk fees and no hassle with an APR in the low fives. So you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, and car loans. Veterans typically cut their monthly payments by $850. At Loan Pronto, they respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now for a free rate quote with no credit pull. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781.
57% of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida alumni say the club saved their lives. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida support over 5,000 local youths each day. Help support this work and have some fun at the same time. Join us at the Beaches Barbecue Bash, Monday, October 28th at ABBQ Atlantic Beach for barbecue, great beverages, live music, and an auction to positively impact our youth each day. Learn more at bgcnf.org/events.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Find your why with membership at the First Coast YMCA. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Come try free access to your local Y every Wellness Wednesday this month. Check out our fitness classes, swimming, pickleball, youth sports, and so much more for free every Wednesday in October. Plus, we'll waive the join fee when you become a member this month. Get active, be social, live healthier, and discover all the benefits of YMCA membership at your local Y or visit fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you are with us. Boy, the weather has absolutely wreaked havoc with the high school football schedule really for the last couple of weeks. But the Bulldogs have managed to get all their games in, with the exception of St. Augustine, which was much earlier in the year. In fact, they had Tuesday night lights earlier this week, and they beat Jackson in a big division game. Matt Toblin is the head coach of Bulls. He joins us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Excited that we got a chance to get it in. Happy for our kids, and then ready to go hunker down for the storm.
Yeah, look, and the bottom line is, and let's talk about getting it in, that was wild. I mean, the game was scheduled for Friday. You end up playing on Tuesday. I assume it came together in a very, very short amount of time. How were you and the Jackson staff able to pull this off?
Well, I'm lucky that, obviously we have a great relationship with Coach Ramsey. And so when we sat down to kind of talk through like the scenarios, we put all cards on the table. Like, this is what could possibly happen. This is what we think is going to happen. We could go, Saturday. What are the problems with that? Going the next Monday. What are the problems with that? How early could we go to get it in? And so we kind of put everything on the table, and we decided the best things for both programs is like, how early can we do this? And then from his perspective, they're coming off a bye week. They've got a big game next week. From our perspective, like, we get it on Tuesday. It's not a lot of rest, a lot of preparation, but gives us an artificial bye week that we really need. We're banged up, and the opportunity to have an extended break leading into kind of the last 2 weeks of our regular season was a really big for us.
You've been a high school coach in the area for a long time, dating back to your time at Ponte Vedra, now obviously at Bulls. I mean, we're talking, a decade plus for you as a head coach, certainly before that as an assistant. You ever seen a season like this with all the weather interruptions?
No. I mean, you're a coach in Florida, you're used to weather interruptions, and so, we've had years where you lose a game, then can say you just go no bye week, which is rough on bodies. We've had years where you lose a game, and so you end up with a Monday, Friday scenario, which is similar to what we went through, 3 games in 8 days. And so I really, hearing what they're talking about doing in Georgia, extending the season to allow or make common bye weeks and to give people a chance to make games in, like, it really is a unique way of thinking about it. But like right now in the state of Florida, it's scramble, stack games on top of each other, like, do what you got to do. And obviously you want to avoid canceling games. You want to avoid being in a scenario where you're prioritizing district games. And so you're canceling other really cool, good games because of the situation that we're in due to weather and the state saying, hey, look, the schedule's the schedule, like, get it in or cancel. And so we're glad that we got a chance to play, and we're happy for both teams to get the opportunity to go out there and compete.
Bulls was a winner over Jackson, 26-0. A couple more for Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bulls. You mentioned 3 games in 8 days. I mean, that's wild. And the fact that your team has performed in the fashion that it has and won 3 games in a row by relatively easy margins, you must be very pleased with your guys.
I am. We're happy with the growth that we've seen. We're happy with the maturity they handled it. Not just the week of the game, but the recovery aspects, like their ability to come in and get treatment and see the trainer and hydrate and take care of their bodies and be smart and all those things that it takes in order to be able to execute and pull that off. And that obviously, one day of practice on Monday, we weren't as crisp on offense, I think, against Jackson as I would have liked. A lot of it had to do with their plan and what they did. But I think it is a testament not only to our kids and their maturity, but also our depth. I mean, at some point against Jackson, our third and fourth running backs are in the game, and that we were able to pull bodies as kids get banged, and the next man up, and the next person goes and plays. And so I was really happy with those guys that are not necessarily frontline starters at the beginning of the year, going in there and contributing and getting us wins.
Coach, as we say goodbye, 6 wins in a row for you guys. I mean, overall body of work. We got 2 regular season games left before the postseason begins. How pleased are you with where you guys are as we enter late October and get into November?
I'm happy. I mean, the happy, not satisfied is what we always tell our kids. Like, I'm happy. I feel like we have gotten better every single week. We've attacked things in a very mature way. We're chasing the best version of ourselves. We've definitely gotten better on defense. Offensively, you see it at times, and then there's other, obviously I put us in a bad situation on only one day of practice going into the Jackson game, but I'm extremely happy. We are beat up. This many games in a row, we are a little bit beat up, and so we are excited for the break and the rest to try to get some of those guys back.
Yeah, Bowls now 10 days off before a big game next week against Riverside on October the 18th. Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bowls. Coach, congratulations on the win. Best of luck moving forward, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, the high school football schedule has been all over the place. What a trying year it's been to get all these games in with all the weather issues going on. One of the teams that has performed very well, regardless of what day of the week they're playing on, is West Nassau. They get a victory over Fernandina Beach on Monday night in a rivalry game up there in Nassau County. West Nassau has now won 7 games in a row. Their head coach is Gunnar Cox, and he joins us here on 1010XL. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been we played last Friday, and then we had to switch gears to play Monday. Never done that before in my coaching career, my playing career, but my kids found a way to get it done.
The Kings of Nassau County, right? A win over Yulee, now a win over Fernandina Beach. I know that's got to make you, your program, your alumni very, very happy.
Yeah, a lot of kids in Nassau County. I know when I was definitely as a player, look forward to. That's one of the major goals if you're one of the 3 schools. So it's very, very fortunate enough that we got our opportunity this year and we capitalized on the moment.
A win over Fernandina Beach. Let's start there first. That's a good Fernandina team that you played, 34-19. How did you guys get it done on Monday night?
We just found a way. Our offense finds a way to truggling along. We're a heavy running team. The lines open up big holes, and defense at the end of the day, we had to make plays. We had a good red zone stop. We forced them to kick field goals, and so just trying to find a win in every aspect of the game. So my kids found a way to win.
7-1, including winners of 7 in a row. I mean, after that opening night loss, which was a very close, hard-fought game in the fourth quarter, you've reeled off 7 straight. Did you have any inkling that you guys could pull off 7 in a row?
I think we could, and we just took one game out at a time. Definitely, after that first game when we lost, it wasn't like my kids were down and all that stuff. They said, "Look, we got to get back to work. We got to do the little things right." And so we just keep getting better every week. And from a blocking to a tackling standpoint to just doing the little things and being the most disciplined team on Friday night. So my kids are doing a great job.
Gunnar Cox, the head coach of West Nassau, here with us on 1010XL. As a high school football head coach, I mean, you got enough to deal with on your plate with, 40, 50, 60 players, the assistants, having to get the field ready, having to get the uniforms. I mean, there's a lot on your plate, and now you throw a couple of hurricanes into the equation. I mean, what has this last couple of weeks been like for you guys?
Oh, it's tough. Especially moving games around, even from JV standpoint. I've had to move a lot of JV games because of the weather trying to get my younger kids some playing time. It's definitely a lot of change. I feel like it's kind of like the COVID year, because COVID year it was like that too. We were changing weeks. So are we going to play this week? Kids test positive that week. So it's just trying to take it day by day. Get my kids' minds focused back and everything. And they've done a well job. Controlling what they can control.
Well, and the most important thing, and this is kind of the vibe I've gotten from a lot of coaches I've talked to about this, your kids work so hard in the offseason, you want to reward them. I mean, games are a reward, and you want to reward them with those 10 opportunities in the regular season. So coaches like you, administrations all over the area, you guys are doing your best to make sure every game gets played.
Yes, we try to do our best that we can. Because, I tell my kids, hey, once you start your freshman year, that's it. You only get 4 years to play, and I promise you that 4 years is going to go by real quick. You'll be like me next, it'll be 10 years later, and you're reminiscent of, playing and stuff. So we try to get our games in. We try to get our kids, to play as much as you can, because, this is, one of the, best moments of your life. I could remember a lot of my high school games and, the memories you make, especially with us. We're in Callahan. It's still a small town environment up here. We have people in the stands, that played 20, 30 years ago here. So just trying to get their games in, and we're trying to control what we can control. At the end of the day, it's, we're going to try to play and get our games in.
The way the schedule worked out, it kind of lucks out for you guys. You're 8 games in, and you have a bye week coming up. So the break in the schedule, the school closings due to the storm won't affect you guys too much. And when you come out of the bye, 2 games to go before the postseason. How do you like how your team's shaping up heading into postseason play?
Right now we're doing a good job. We're just trying to get ready for these next 2 games. I told my kids, yes, we did accomplish one of the goals. Winning the county, but we got bigger things to look at. We just got to keep getting better every single day. Being more disciplined. I'm still proud of my kids. They're doing really well. I'm proud of my staff. But we just got to keep getting, better and better. The job's not done yet. We got at least 2 guaranteed games in the postseason. And, I want to try to make a run at this.
Gunnar Cox, the head coach of West Nassau, they are winners of 7 games in a row, including a 34-19 win over Fernandina Beach on Monday night. Coach, congratulations on a terrific season to this point. Best of luck moving forward.
Thank you. Go Warriors.
He's our pathfinder through the weeds of quarterback chaos.
I'm Denny Thompson, and they call me the quarterback whisperer.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drip. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
This election, if you want someone who will take care of the messes, someone who isn't afraid to get dirty and work in the trenches, someone who will pump out the problems and prevent future ones, vote for the Duck.
Need your septic tank serviced? Call DuckDuckRooter, your 5-star Google-rated septic company. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com.
I approve this message.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Meet Zara, talking about his experience with BioTarget regenerative therapy at injury care centers.
I came to injury care centers because I'm an old football player and some of my old injuries were beginning to catch up with me. I couldn't do what I used to do without having severe pain. I felt the improvements from the BioTargeting almost immediately. Very few places would guarantee their work because, doctors, they say they're practicing medicine, so you're essentially just an experiment. The folks at injury care centers offering a 100% money back guarantee lets you know that they take your well-being very seriously.
Stop masking your pain with harmful medications. There's a better solution. BioTarget regenerative therapy has helped countless others, and it can help you too. Call 904-92-REGEN or visit GoBioTarget.com today.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WindoWorld wants you to do. WindoWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WindoWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WindoWorld can.
And with WindoWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WindoWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WindoWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WindoWorld, and to top it off, WindoWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WindoWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindoWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
WindoWorld, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC, Zero Res.
Pace Carline here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bears, Sunday morning, 9:30 in London. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL. Chicago feeling pretty good about themselves, coming off a dominating win over Carolina. Jacksonville finally got off the mat last week, getting their first win of the year over Indianapolis. Let's talk Chicago Bears with Patrick Finley. He's our guy up in the Windy City of the Chicago Sun-Times, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Patrick, how we doing?
Not too bad. How about you?
Patrick, we're good. Thank you for the time. All right, a lot of questions about Chicago. You and I talked back in the offseason during our division previews. We've gotten some clarity on the Bears. First and foremost, 3-2. Caleb Williams, 5 starts in. How would you assess how the rookie has looked to this point?
So far, so good. He has twice as many 300-yard passing games as Justin Fields ever did with the Bears. That's the start. 3-2, and the Bears have had the ball in their 2 losses with 5 minutes to play and a chance to win. Losing at the Colts, I think, at some point will probably look like a bad loss. But beyond that, the Bears season is about where I thought it'd be. You've got a quarterback who's getting better every week. His QBR has gone up in every single game since week 1. and you have an offense that's that's starting to find its identity. They're in a pretty good spot here. They're healthy. They have an offensive line that's got questions, but other than that, they are more or less who we thought they were.
Again, I'm looking at it from afar, but as we start looking at Chicago and previewing the game this week, it looks like Caleb Williams, if he has time, he makes a lot of great plays. It looks like if he doesn't have time, he can resort to looking like a rookie quarterback. Is that how you would assess it?
Yes, and there are going to be brain farts that young players have, even with good protection. But the Bears' protection in the first couple of weeks of the season was really, really bad. I mean, he was on his butt for more of the Texans game than he was upright, and that's something that the Bears have fixed a little bit here in the couple of weeks since. But when he has time, he's able to hang in there. You can see him every week kind of learning a different aspect of the game. 2 weeks ago, they talked about how they needed to get the ball out quick and not take negative plays. And he went 15 for 15 from 10 yards or shorter. This past week they talk about, well, we got to be able to go deep too. He goes 3 for 4 from 20 yards or deeper for 2 touchdowns. He is kind of tackling these different hurdles, each week and coming out on the good side of it. And that's just really exciting, because if he can do that more often than he doesn't, he's going to be a really good quarterback by the time the season's over.
Patrick Fenley of the Chicago Sun-Times, Jaguars and the Bears this Sunday in London. Patrick, the skill position, they got a lot of really good names, right? DJ Moore had a huge game last week against Carolina. Keenan Allen's back on the field now. We know about Rome Odunze. How would you talk about the offensive skill players around Caleb Williams?
Yeah, DJ is coming off of his best game of the season. There'd been some frustration from him through the first month. It's just hard playing with a rookie quarterback. The ball's not always, in your hands when you want it to be. And, Keenan Allen was hurt in games 2 and 3. He came back from plantar fasciitis, and Rome Odunze has shown flashes, but hasn't really gotten in a rhythm. Those are 3 names that can carry them if they get hot. And, DJ might be hot right now, but the other 2 aren't. And if you can get them going at the same time, boy, that'd be exciting, And then you've got Cole Kmet at tight end, and you've got DeAndre Swift, who's turning into a real pass-catching weapon. I mean, those are 5 pretty good names. I'll give you Gerald Everett, too. I mean, that's 6. And if Caleb can play point guard and get the ball in their hands, I think they're going to be better for it.
Yeah, there's no doubt the Bears are one of the more active teams this offseason. Defensively, it looks like Chicago has been very good through 5 games. Maybe the Indianapolis game aside, it looks like they've been very, very solid.
Yeah, they going into the Panthers game, they were allowing the second lowest passer rating among all teams in the NFL. I think the Saints were number 1. My instinct, I haven't looked it up yet, but my instinct is that they now hold the lowest passer rating allowed. When they haven't faced C.J. Stroud, this defense has been really good. They beat up on Matthew Stafford. They beat up on Andy Dalton, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. So they haven't faced exactly the cream of the crop of NFL quarterbacks, but they've done a really good job. They play this Tampa 2 defense. They keep everything in front of them. And if they can get to the passer, that defense really works well. And they've been getting to the passer, not only with their defensive tackle, Javon Dexter from Florida has been really good, and with Montez Sweat, but they're blitzing their slot corner, they're blitzing their safety, they're throwing some exotic stuff out there, which you don't really think Matt Eberflus, would do. It's not something he did when he was the coordinator in Indianapolis, but it's a wrinkle that seems to be working for them.
Couple more for Patrick Fenley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Patrick, I remember our conversation this offseason, and it was common knowledge that Eberflus might not have necessarily been on the hot seat coming into the year, but he needed to win. Year 3, just like Doug Peterson here in Jacksonville. So far, so good at 3-2. How is Eberflus standing there with the Chicago fan base?
It's week to week, like everything else with the Chicago fan base. But at 3-2, they've won the 3 games that they've been favored to win. They've lost the 2 games that they have been underdogs in. I'll tell you a story after the Colts loss, which was, like I said, pretty disturbing. 4 or 5 of the Bears' veteran offensive players met with Shane Waldron. He's the new offensive coordinator here on that Monday, and they sat there and in the course of the meeting, told him a lot of things, including like, hey, when we screw up, you need to get on our butts. Like you're not coaching us hard enough. And, when you're calling plays, you need to let us cook a little bit. If we're going strong, don't, let us go no huddle, that sort of stuff. And in the 2 games since, the Bears offenses look completely different. So, that's a credit to Matt Eberflus, but also to the coaching staff that they're willing to adjust and they're willing to take recommendations from some of these veteran players and even from Caleb Williams.
Some of the thought coming into this game against Jacksonville is the whole concept of London and a rookie quarterback going to London. And a lot of Chicago guys haven't necessarily been to London, where Jacksonville has been there year after year. How big a factor do you think that'll be on Sunday?
Caleb Williams travels the world. Caleb Williams, it's weird. This new era of quarterbacks. I mean, he was a millionaire in college, and he was an above-the-board millionaire. So, he's been to Grand Prix, overseas. His girlfriend is European. He spends time over there. So I don't think it's going to be, from a travel standpoint, anything, too alarming for him. They're also doing something different this year. 5 years ago when we went over there, the Bears flew overnight on Thursday, had a walkthrough on Friday, and then played. This year they left on a Monday, and they're going to spend the week there, practice 3 different times, get their body, clocks, caught up, and I think that's a better way to do it. That's the way I'd do it if I were in charge. So ideally they'll play a little better and look a little better than they did when they lost to the Raiders in 2019.
Final moments, Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. The interesting thing, too, and Jacksonville got lucky last year. This is a, quote, Chicago home game, just like it was a Buffalo home game last year where they avoided Bills Mafia and got to play them in London. Well, they avoid Soldier Field. And Chicago, you would think, would be a different team at Soldier Field. How many Bears fans, to your knowledge, are planning on making the trip to London?
A lot of them. The Bears travel well everywhere. It's when we were in Houston, it was probably a quarter Bears fans, which is not that unusual. I know a lot of people who are going to go. I'm going to go, and people are excited. If you're the Bears, I think you'd rather play this game at home, obviously. But Soldier Field is a different place in November and December and in January, and when it's cold and freezing rain and you got the wind going. Here in October, it's been real nice. I hate to say it, but playing at Soldier Field this time of year isn't as hard as it would be later. So, in a vacuum, I'm sure they'd rather be at home. But if you're going to give up a home game, giving it up in early October when it's quite pleasant here, I think is okay for them.
Patrick, as we begin to wrap up, boy, that division's crazy, right? I mean, we thought Minnesota was going to be kind of the lonely wolf in last place, and looking, they're 5-0. Green Bay's very good. Detroit's very good. Chicago is over 500. There's really very little room for error for all 4 teams right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think if the season were to end today, the Bears would be a playoff team, which is strange. And I think that's by virtue of a tie with the Packers. But, I thought the Bears would finish 3rd in their division ahead of only the Vikings. And, now I don't see how you could look at the division and think anything other than the Vikings are going to finish above the Bears. I think there's a world where all 4 of those teams finish with 9 wins or more. And if so, that would be pretty impressive. That doesn't happen very often. But, the Packers, now that they have Jordan Love back, have to be considered dangerous. And the Lions, are the same old Lions from the last season and maybe the second half of the season before that. Before the Bears ever played a game, Jordan Love got hurt and J.J. McCarthy was lost for the season. And going into the Bears opener, you're sitting there going, boy, this might be shaping up okay for them. And it hasn't because the other teams have played really good football. We'll see where everybody is when they start playing divisional games. The Bears don't play their first divisional game until November. So, we'll see where everybody is then. But, boy, it's shaping up to be a really good division.
Patrick, final question. As far as the Jaguars, early in the week, Jacksonville was 0-4. They got a much-needed win over Indianapolis. What is the thinking in Chicago with this game against Jacksonville coming up on Sunday?
I think the Bears are lucky that the Jags won on Sunday. I think that they might have been a little more dangerous going in to the game had they lost. I don't know. From up here, I don't know whether there would have been changes made down there had they lost on Sunday, or whether they were small or large changes or nothing at all. But I think the Bears are probably in a better position without the pressure of, oh my God, are they going to lose to the winless team? And the Bears this season have, done what they're supposed to do, against the Panthers and against the Rams. They took care of business. I think the Jaguars have a chance to be better than, certainly the Rams, and they're, definitely better than the Panthers. But boy, I think the Bears catch a break by them coming off of a win as opposed to another loss.
Patrick, for Jaguar fans listening that want to keep track on the opponent this week, you'll be over in London, Chicago Sun-Times. Where can people find your work?
Yeah, it's Chicago Sun-Times, and you can find me on X at Patrick Finley, my name. You can check out a podcast that we do called Hallis Intrigue wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, we're going to be over there all week. We'll be filing practice reports and all sorts of good stuff from across the pond.
He's one of our guys up in Chicago, Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Patrick, safe travels. Always appreciate you coming on. We'll talk again soon, my friend.
Yeah, you stay safe down there too.
Get the coach's perspective.
Constant improvement, every day, every week.
Doug Peterson joins the Frangie Show Fridays at 4:05.
This group is eager to win.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
100 pounds. Man, when you say it like that, 100 pounds. That's the weight I've lost on Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 has changed my life. Awaken 180 has saved my life. From 317 pounds in late February to 217 pounds right now at the early part of October. Down triple digits. Thanks to the great folks and the great program of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Guys, it's simple. If you need to lose weight like I did, and whether it's a ton of weight like I did, or whether it's 20 pounds, anywhere in between, take it from somebody who's lost 100 pounds on this program. It works. It can help you. It can change your life. Trust me. Go to Awaken 180weightloss.com.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars, to trucks, to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
What countries have the most and least time zones? The answer next.
With storm season blowing wind and rain, it's even more critical to protect your valuable assets with a policy from Southern Oak Insurance. Ask your agent about Southern Oak today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Believe it or not, France has 12 time zones. China, only one. China's Standard Time.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hello there. Brendan from Play It Again Sports here to congratulate all the parents for surviving another summer. The kiddos are back to school, and you know what that means? Sports are back. But don't fret, Play It Again Sports has the gear you need at prices worthy of excessive celebration. From sluggers and shooters to clappers and benders, Play It Again Sports can turn your kids into goats. Stop in today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Hey, Hickett here with a message from Zero Res. Can you believe they've been cleaning carpets in Jacksonville now for 20 years? Dave Benyon and his family and staff are so grateful of things and appreciate you, their great customers. In fact, October's birthday month for Zero Res. So what are we doing for customers? Just say happy birthday, Zero Res, and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile, and grout, upholstery, or area rugs. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL on 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Tennessee, Saturday night. Knoxville, Neyland Stadium will be the location. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL Radio. The Gators at 3-2, coming off a pretty good-looking win, right, over UCF. Tennessee licking their wounds after that loss to Arkansas. They're probably very anxious to get back on that field up there in Rocky Top. And 6 games in for both Miami and Florida State. Kind of a mid-season report, one of which is going very well. The other one is going horribly. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, we're all doing okay, and trying to deal with Mother Nature and all that goes along with that in the middle of the football season. So just really an incredible Saturday to see 3 SEC teams all be upset on the same day was frankly surreal.
It was, and let's begin with your alma mater. Look, and I'm not going to toot my own horn here because by no means did I think Vanderbilt was going to win the game. But I do the Gator Bites podcast on 1010XL.com, and I said last Friday, I believe we did that podcast, I said, look, Alabama's going to win, but after you come off 100,000 fans and that win over Georgia, and now you're going to 35,000-seat Vanderbilt, and you're going to have a majority of your fans there, could there be any sort of letdown? Can Vandy keep it close for a half? Well, not only did Vandy do that, Brent, but they ended up winning the game. I mean, how stunned is your home state about what happened?
Well, it was a perfect storm. As you said, the euphoria of beating Georgia, being number one, everybody loving you and patting you on the back. They really were not mature enough to handle that. So the number one mantle is probably something they don't need to deal with at this point either. I mean, beyond all of that, there are some real issues that are going to have to be dealt with primarily on defense. In the last 6 quarters of football, Alabama's defense has given up 60 points and forced only 3 punts on 15 possessions. So that's something that they've got to be able to fix and fix quickly. But when you're on the road in this league, you can just get involved in some really strange things very quickly. Vanderbilt jumped out to a 2-touchdown lead on a pass deflection. But look, what people need to understand is this is a different Vanderbilt animal. I mean, should Vanderbilt ever be Alabama? Frankly, no. But when you've got Diego Pavia is an outstanding quarterback, frankly, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And Vanderbilt has an offense you don't see very often. Listen, their offense is akin to what you describe on Friday Night Lights. It's a wishbone. It's an inverted wishbone. It's a shuttle pass. It's a option. It's a veer. Describe that. And if you don't play assignment football, like Alabama did not, you can get beat. So yes, it was a combination of a lot of things that certainly shook up the SEC.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, to the Gators, I thought that was a good win over UCF.
It was.
Say what you will about Billy Napier, and fans have crushed him, and they're just counting the days till he's gone and all of that, the noise in the system. And having said that, the guys are still playing hard for Billy. They go to Starkville, they beat Mississippi State, they come home, and they're underdogs in their home stadium, and they beat UCF. Now, I don't expect them to beat Tennessee. I don't think anybody does. But from 1-2 to 3-2, kudos to Billy and that staff for at least stabilizing the waters, at least for the time being.
I thought the key to the game was going to be what Florida did with their rush defense. And they held, look, people were jumping up and down because of what Colorado did. UCF was averaging 375 yards a game and number one in the nation. They held it at 177. And then even after that, they were number two in the nation, averaging 326. Well, Florida basically held them to 108. So give them credit for that. I think the other thing that went on, Graham Mertz is really playing well, and I don't think he's getting enough credit. 19 to 23, 179, and a touchdown. Mertz in the last two games, last two wins, has thrown only 6 incompletions. 38 of 44 for 380 and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So I would say your formula for success there was the rush defense and Graham Mertz.
Brent, there have been times in the 22 years that I've known you and that we've talked on radio that Florida-Tennessee was a gigantic deal. And it's certainly not what it once was, but they're going to redo the rivalry on Saturday night in Neyland. I think Tennessee is going to be ready. I mean, they lose to Arkansas last week, which will add to their motivation, but they remember what Florida did to them last year, so I don't doubt that Volunteer Navy and the Big Orange are waiting for Florida to come to Neyland, and ESPN put that game at 7 o'clock, so the SEC didn't do Florida any favors there. I don't think Florida's going to win. I don't expect you believe Florida's going to win. I don't think many people listening right now think Florida's going to win. My question to you, Mr. Beard, is what needs to happen for Florida to have a chance to win in the fourth quarter?
Well, the Tennessee needs to continue to do what they're doing over the last couple of games, which they are struggling on offense. They've got receivers who are hurt. Nicole Amlalia is not playing well. I don't know if you saw the last play of the game in that Arkansas game.
It was bad.
It was winning Hack. Hack, don't you throw the ball in the end zone hoping something will happen? Instead, Nico just basically runs out of bounds.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Anthony Richardson against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
When Anthony Richardson threw it into row G of the stands, that was the last play of the game. It's like, what are you doing? Well, same thing with Nico. I mean, you get tackled, the game's over. You just launch that thing up and pray at that point. You cannot go down to the ground with that football in your hand.
Well, no, you can't. And look, I'm with you. I'm not saying Tennessee will lose the game, but they have lost their edge. And part of that is they really didn't. You hear fans say this all the time, and I get it, but they really did not play anybody in the month of September. Missouri didn't either, and that hurt them. Ole Miss was the same thing. Frankly, so was Auburn. And if you don't get much of a test in September, I know Tennessee played NC State, but NC State's not a power right now. They're a good 7-5, 8-4 team, but I think that's hurt Tennessee too. Now, frankly, if Florida could kind of have a Vanderbilt moment where you get ahead by a couple of scores and Tennessee's got to chase points all day long, then that would really be a help to them. But, Hank, the reality is, I mean, to me, doesn't Florida go up to Knoxville, frankly, without any pressure? Because at this point, the pressure's on Tennessee after this good start, thinking they were going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Florida's got to survive the first quarter. Florida's just got to survive because I think Tennessee's going to come out there like gangbusters and try to put this one away early. If Florida can survive and get this thing into the second half with a chance, then I think the pressure does get ratcheted up on Tennessee. The question is, can Florida do that? Can they survive that first 30 minutes in Neyland?
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, again, Tennessee, besides Nico, they've got Dylan Sampson, who's one of the better running backs in the league. And when they're healthy, Brew McCoy and Squirrel White are good receivers. But that receiving core has been hurt, not as bad as Oklahoma's has, when the whole starting lineup, wide receivers missed the Auburn game. But Tennessee's defense still is ferocious, although they were ahead like from 14-3 and then allowed Arkansas to score like 2 straight touchdowns. So but I'm sure they are ready for a reboot. But the reality of it is, it would be. I mean, frankly, if Florida goes up there and is able to win that game, even on a fluke situation, Napier's future would be a lot less cloudy than it is now.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. If Billy wins on Saturday night, it's a much different conversation about him on Sunday morning. Brent Beard, you get him on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, in the time we have left, let's do kind of a midseason report on Florida State and Miami. Quickly to Miami. Let's start with the good one. They're playing with fire, though. I mean, right, Virginia Tech, that ending of that game was crazy. The Cal comeback, the 35-10 to come back and win that game. Kudos to Miami. But at some point, you play with fire enough, you'll get burned, Brent. They gotta perform better in these games.
This Miami team is a team that for 10 minutes, they will look like the best team in the nation. And then you've got a situation like in the Cal game to where they're almost abysmal. I mean, to get behind 35-10 with only 23 minutes left of football to play, give them tremendous credit for being able to come back. They go as Cam Ward goes, and that's what you've got. They got 20 touchdowns. He's a Heisman candidate at this point. Now, a lot of people have screamed to the mountaintop that the referees are trying to be sure that Miami is undefeated and get in the playoffs. I'm not interested in getting into that, but I know that's out there. But the reality of it is they're doing what they need to win. Xavier Restapro is the wide receiver, is having a good year. Jalen Rivers, who was at Oakleaf. He's been hurt. Reuben Bain is back on the D line, so that helps. So they look. Are they a playoff team? They likely are. They're off. They've got Louisville next week, so we'll know more then. But you're right, Hank. They've won by the hair of their chinny chin the last 2 games.
Brent, finally to Florida State. Now, I've waited 6 games for them to turn the corner, right? I've waited 6 games for them to look like Florida State the last couple of years. And I'm just at the point now where they're just not any good. And it looks like they know that. And they've almost thrown up the white flag. They're playing a lot of freshmen, right? It looks like they're playing for the future. I look at their last 6 games. I mean, they're going to beat Charleston Southern. I think they might get maybe Duke, maybe North Carolina. But, Brent, when they go to Miami, when they go to Notre Dame, heck, maybe even when they play Florida, they don't have a chance of making it to a bowl game and what will just be a gigantic fall from grace from where this team was just 1 year ago.
Well, and the problem with those games you're talking about, there have been games already, even the SMU game, where you could really say they just quit. And the problem is, are they going to continue to do that? If they do, anybody can beat them. I mean, even next Friday night playing Duke, Duke's playing better than they are right now. But to your point, they had to put Brock Glenn in. He did okay, 23 of 41, 288, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. So they need him to play. 37% of the offensive snaps are underclassmen. And 28% of the defensive snaps are underclassmen. That's the best thing Mike Norvell can do right now with them. Hank, it just play the kids, play Brock Glenn, because unfortunately, what worked last year in the transfer portal has been a dismal failure this year, and they've just got to start getting ready for next year. And the sooner they can. By the time you get to the end of November, no fans won't be happy, but these guys will have played enough to where you'll see who's going to work, who won't work.
Brent, final question. Saturday's slate of games, Florida-Tennessee is the headliner for us. The headliner in the conference is probably the Texas State Fair, the first time Texas and Oklahoma have gotten together as members of the SEC. You also got Alabama, South Carolina. Georgia's going to destroy Mississippi State. And I really like Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Vanderbilt coming off the Alabama win, Kentucky coming off the Ole Miss win 2 weeks ago. That should be fun in Lexington on Saturday night.
It will be, and Kentucky having a week off, that will be interesting. It would be interesting to see if Vanderbilt is actually, they can get their feet on the ground. They're going to have the reverse situation coming up. And look, a gargantuan game is Ole Miss at LSU.
Yeah.
So LSU was off last week. I mean, Ole Miss, are they really the better team? Well, they will get a real test. So you're right. It's one of the better weeks of all. And I'm celebrating, except for the Storm this week, starts midweek games with Maction, so that will be fun, and not necessarily even Maction, but just more college football. And then look, Oregon and Ohio State is a real headliner. Penn State and USC, USC 11-9 in their last 20 games, so no, they're not back. And then Kansas State to Colorado. Also, so to your point, heck, it's easily one of the better weeks of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a fun Saturday, no question about that. It's always fun. We have my buddy Brent Beard on. You see him locally at First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, stay safe out there in Clay County with the storm coming in. We appreciate you, brother, and we'll do it again next week.
Look forward to it. Take care, bud.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark, because it should be a pretty interesting Saturday. of college football. I mean, you look in the SEC alone, Ole Miss, LSU, that's the big one. You got the State Fair in Texas with the Longhorns and the Sooners. Still kind of hard to believe that's an SEC conference matchup. How about Vanderbilt and Kentucky, right? Vanderbilt coming off their win over Alabama. Kentucky had a bye last week, but the last time we saw them, they won a game in Oxford. So two teams feeling awfully good about themselves. How will Alabama respond as they play South Carolina? And then, of course, Florida and Tennessee Saturday night up in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium. The Gators come in at 3-2. Don't expect them to win. Not breaking any news there, but it's certainly a terrific opportunity for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators to pull off an upset. So we did a lot of college talk and then certainly talked a lot in the National Football League. The Jaguars were back on the field today, getting ready to head over to London to get ready for Chicago. The Bears have been over in London for a couple of days now. They landed, Monday night / Tuesday morning over in London. They're going to spend the entire week over there to get ready for the Jaguars. Jacksonville coming in at 1-4 after their first win last week over Indianapolis. Chicago comes in at 3-2 on the year. Caleb Williams, probably his best game in the NFL last week against Carolina. Carolina didn't touch him at all. Didn't get any pressure on him whatsoever. That's the key, right? Talking to people up in Chicago, that is certainly the key. You got to get pressure on Caleb Williams, and he might throw some interceptions, might make some rookie mistakes in that scenario. Well, that'll just about do it, man. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Hope you guys are staying safe. It's probably going to be a very wet and windy late night here in Northeast Florida, so just be careful out there, and prayers up to everybody down in the Central Florida, the Gulf area down by Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, as Hurricane Milton came ashore, and certainly quite the scene down there, I would imagine. So prayers up to all our neighbors to the south. We have a ton of people to thank during tonight's broadcast. Again, thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times for joining us, talking about the Chicago Bears perspective on this game. Always enjoy talking with Patrick about the Bears, and when it's this time of year, when the Jaguars and the Bears get together, Patrick is certainly one of our go-to guys in the Chicago area. Also had a couple of high school coaches, as the games this week have been absolutely wild. Thank you to Gunnar Cox, the head coach of West Nassau, who got a win over Fernandina Beach on Monday night. And thank you to Matt Toblin, the head coach of Bowles, who got a win over Jackson last night. Not only are these coaches having to prepare their teams for games, but games have been moved around. I mean, the weather has just wreaked havoc with the high school football season. An example of that, Bowles has played 3 games in 8 days. But you got to get them in because you don't have any other time to get them in. And these kids deserve to play as many regular season games as they can. They've earned that right by practice and everything they do during the year. So thank you to Gunnar Cox of West Nassau and Matt Toblin of Bowles. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as we preview Jacksonville and Chicago coming up this Sunday over in London. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort